Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to Heirloom Afternoon. It's Tuesday, and wow, I feel like I have been away for a really long time, even though it's been only a week. Last week, we saw all these wonderful things that came in the mail while I was away, which is really awesome. And really haven't had a chance to dive back into any of those items since I was on a quilt retreat this past weekend. And I got to hang out with my quilty friends and finish some projects. So that's a lot of fun. If you're out there and you can hear me, say hello and give me a thumbs up. Oh, Rhonda's here. Welcome, welcome. I am so excited to see you. And today, as we always do, I am Cheryl Muppin Sloboda, and you can tune in every single week Tuesday at 12 noon Central. I will be here for you. And of course, as always, you can find all of our heirloom sewing fun stuff. We do smocking and heirloom fabric manipulations over at muppin.com. I hope you're doing well. We are doing very well here. We've been trying to get our like digital show back on the road and everything all set up. We still don't have the proper lights in the studio, and that's bugging me. But let's take a look over at Quilt Cam, and you can see here Quilt Cam quilt has been a little worse for wear. It's not really like showing well today. Oh, it even fell off there. And a lot of it is because it's being pulled down by these extra pieces that are just, you can see the big hole that's been cut out of it. Somebody had cut a whole motif out of the quilt. And, you know, that's really still, it breaks my heart. This is such a beautiful quilt. Now, I did go through the quilt kit book that I did finally get in the mail. And sadly, this quilt is not in the book. Apparently, there were so many of these quilt kits out there that it would be impossible to have a book of them all. But apparently, there's a website. And if you go to quiltkitid.com, you can pay a subscription fee for a year to research and or look up your various quilt kits, and they will identify them for you. So I thought that was a really cool option. So if you again are looking for a quilt kit like this one, you can, oh, you know what? I'm probably, there we go. That's probably pretty loud. So you can get this quilt kit identified for you. I don't know if I'm ready to pay that for this quilt, since it is not complete and it has stains on it, and like, you know, it's been chewed up. I mean, they not only has it been chewed up, but it's been cut up, and I'm still tragic. It's tragic, right, for a quilt this pretty. So anyway, that's what's going on with this quilt. It is the last day of this month for this quilt, and we will be switching to a new quilt next month. So I'm very excited about that. So what else is going on? Oh my gosh, what isn't going on? I've got the finish of my tufted Amish quilt is done, and I'm excited to show it to you. Now, you know, again, I have been, this is my little bag of threads that I've been working out of, and of course my little, you know, sample these templates that came from the UK. And so we're going to talk about that again. And I'm going to bring over my my cam. I've had all sorts of digital troubles today, so bear with me. Here we go. And so here is the cam. This is the final flowers that I did finally finish, and I have quilted it. And so you can see also I added a little like a vase, whatever you want to call it here. All right. And so just to show you where the individual templates were used and how they were used. We have two different sizes of washer style. There's two washers. And then there's this template, and it goes like this. It's a little metal template, and it goes inside of the wool tufting here. And then this one, this large one, was done with the largest template, but I only used the 3 open sides, and I wanted it to be like a, so this is like a Dutch tulip. And so the Pennsylvania Dutch would use this motif. Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate that. Let me tell you that using the yarns were the most, I would say, the most difficult to produce the right effects. You know, when you are sewing and you're laying down these various pieces, right? And I think this one is a smaller one, actually. There's 2 different sizes in this container. And so let me find that other one. And then I also have these leaves, which were done with this shape. Okay, so that shape did the leaf shapes. There is a smaller one. Let me find it. It's in here somewhere. Here it is. Yeah, there's 2 different sizes, and at one point you don't realize that there's 2 different sizes, but they really are. One is smaller than the other, and so now you can see, like, just see how much bigger that one is. It's imperceptibly bigger. When you hold them up, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so you get to see that, you know, it's about a 1/2 inch, maybe a 1/2 inch taller. So this blue and the blue and purple one was made with the smaller piece, and this one was made with the larger piece. So again, they don't really show that they're that big. But you get that sense. And then, you know, I just moved the petals around just to give it a few. So so let's talk about this one. This one, again, I was only using the side with the holes, and what you do is you stitch over these melon shapes or these orange peel shapes. You know, for quilters, you recognize this shape. And then you once you cut it, there's, you know, your layers that appear. And I will tell you right now that the hardest part of the whole process, there's 2 difficult parts. The one is when you get to a part like this here, and I found this to be rather difficult. This section right in here, it gets really jammed up with thread. There will be like so many layers back and forth in this section, like really, really thick. And it creates a lot of stress on your hands to constantly be pulling the needle full of yarn through these thicker areas over and over again. And that really does become really like hard on your hands. And I know that that's probably not what we're all hoping and for, is like, you know, to find a technique that's hard on your hands. You can use fewer threads in that section. You don't have to make it as dense. You can see here that and you can even feel it, that the threads are very dense in that section compared to, and then again here at the top, you can also see that there's just a little bit more density there. And that's because the stitching was very close in these sections, because you're trying to cover all of this and it all really just comes to a little point in that section. So what happens is when you go to cut this out, it catches and there's all this fullness in the center of your template, and you're trying to pull it out and you don't want to bend your template. So you're trying to pull these out and you're just trying to work them out and get all that fullness down in between there so that you can get the template out. That was also the situation with the circles. What happens is all of that density comes to the middle and you end up with this ring that you cannot pull out. And it gets frustrating. And so, that is another challenge that I have found. And especially, again, on these stars, these 6-pointed stars, the same situation happens here in the center. You get this tufted fullness here and it looks really pretty, but try to jam that through this hole. As you're cutting it, it's expanding. It's all those fibers are spreading out and you're trying to get that to figure out. So, Rhonda, this is a good question. I was wondering if you use fewer thread layers in the very tight spots, would it still look full enough? I would say that it would. And I would probably do that in future. I did have a little bit of a problem with the blue one, where I pulled so hard on the center that I ended up pulling it almost off of the fabric, like it was going to take the fabric with it. So that was not good. So, again, for the circles, they're a little easier. You can just use your finger to kind of mash them through. What I also noticed was that on this larger, this one, once I got the template free, I used a needle to help smush down. That's the technical term, right? The smushing. I smushed it through that entry so that it could release. And then, of course, you still have also this center one as well. So lots of interesting things. Also, these 6-pointed stars, they are a love star in the Pennsylvania Dutch hex things. And so when you have like Pennsylvania Dutch, they paint these hex marks on their barns and above their doors. And the 6-pointed star is a love star and a family star. So that was, why you see a lot of these designs on here. These German Tuftwork and Amish Stumpwork is what this is called. So let's talk about, again, the colors. As you saw in the previous episode where I was actually stitching them, I have a whole bag full of colors here. And I wanted to pick certain colors that complemented each other and would produce a pretty flower or whatever. And some of them were too, like, the colors were too subtle. I wanted to have like a, like an ombre effect, and that really didn't work out so well. It's like the colors are very different from one another. And especially here in the greens, I feel like I need like just another darker green, or even to go into like a dark gray or a black. I did the dark colors here on the outside of this one, and then the dark colors on the interior of this one, and then sort of layered between. So here's the deal. The first color that you lay down is going to be in the center. So that's what you have to remember, is the very first color is going to be in the center. And then all the colors that you build up after that are going to be layered throughout. And then the very last layer that you stitch down is the last color on the very edge. So in a situation where you have a cutout, like a circle or this flower template, okay, the very last thing that you stitch is also going to be the very last prominent row in the middle. So I did like a really pretty teal color here, and then I did a pinky coral, and then I wanted to do something really out there, so I went with this orange. So these are the three colors for the tulip, and as you can see, they're neat, but the orange is really overwhelming, and the pink is kind of there. If you get at it, you can see it. And then the blue is just like this little tiny outline. I don't know. I don't know if I would have reversed it, if it would look better or not. But these were the three colors for this. And, there's a lot of color theory here. But I think our forebears who did this technique, they were using yarn scraps, and they were using whatever they had available. And so a lot of that comes into play with how theirs came together and how they looked. So, again, if you're using up a lot of your yarn pieces, your yarn scraps, I had yarn that I bought specifically for this technique. So for me, this is pretty good. Now, a couple of my skeins exploded and did not pull properly. I hate it when a skein doesn't pull properly. And so I need to get some thread winders for these. Now, a thread winder is a vintage sewing tool, and in a way, they kind of look like these shapes. And I'll talk about vintage thread winders at length at some point, because I don't actually own any. They're kind of hard to find, and a lot of times they are made of mother of pearl or some other, nice. They'll be made of like a nice wood. They are usually carved. And they're really sort of elegant. They're probably no bigger than this. They probably would be even smaller. They'd probably be this size. And they would have either like points, or they would be rounded off in a way, and you would take your yarn or your thread and you would wind it around that in order to save not only just your scraps, but anything like this where the skein is exploded and you need to keep it from knotting up and getting tangled and being awful, because that's just how it is in this little bag over here. It's just kind of awful right now. And, you know, and then you end up with a fair number of scraps for your, you know, after you're done. And I mean, I have enough here. This would probably, these 3 pieces could do a leaf. I could have taken some of this and maybe created some additional, like I did here, where I added a little bit of, I don't know, like stamen kind of look. And then I needed some stems, and I wanted them to be made of the same material as the flowers. And so I just did a chain stitch with the tapestry needle through the wool before I quilted it, and ran those down to the edge of the little flower pot, and free cut, you know, the little flower pot. And then I did, as you can see, put a layer of batting and a backing on it. And I just got to show you the backing because I'm like adorably in love with this too. And this is an Allison Glass fabric that I just love. And I love having like a really crazy back on the back of my quilts. This is just like what I normally do, is have like crazy backs on my quilts. And so as you can see, I did not quilt where the tufting is, because we want that portion to be extra raised. And you know, there's all kinds of very strange little symbols on here, and I just adore it. So and then, you know, I did go in and quilt it with my domestic machine, sewed this on my Bernina, and just quilted the background. And that was to give me this pretty background. And that's just the same wool that we have been working on all this time. And yeah, it's done. I'm pretty pleased with it. Again, I probably would make different flower color choices. One of the nights or one of the days, I said I was going to do these colors here, the yellow and blue, for Ukraine. And so that to me was like, you know, just kind of a time remembrance of when I made this. So the yellow and blue there for Ukraine. So, you know, I'm really kind of excited in how it came out. It is a really cool technique, and I can't wait to show and share more of this with you. Now, you're probably like, Cheryl, where can I get the templates? Hold tight. These are coming. I have checked to make sure that they are, that I am able to copy them. And I am going to offer them. So don't worry about that. I'm working on that. So for those of you that are like, I can't wait to try this, I got you. Also, we will be looking into offering the tapestry wool as well, which is kind of neat. And so just so that you have that as an option for what you would want to try here, I think that it would be a nice little trial. Again, I love new techniques, new to me. This was completely new to me. It was a definite, like, you know, sort of just discovered it online and decided to do some research about it. And I can't tell you how cool and how fun it was. It was really neat. So this is the quilt, and it does need a binding. So I will get to that eventually here. And yeah, so we're all finished with this, and we're ready, I think, to move on to a new technique. And so I hope you've enjoyed watching the videos on this technique. Now, again, we have so many techniques to try here at Heirloom Afternoon. So many, in fact, that it will take me years to get through them all. So I hope you're ready, because once we start going through them. Now, what can we expect? There is a steel wool, or not, it's not a wool loom. It's a pot holder loom. I think you'd call it just a pot holder loom. I don't know if you can make anything else on it. I'm going to look into that. But I did get all of these lovely little loops for my loom. Now, they do make the loops still. They also make the looms as well, in case you want to try that. These are part of a company called the Friendly Loom. And these are the bright colors. You can get them on the Amazon. And these cotton loops fit the 7-inch loom. Now, their 7-inch loom is plastic. And it says that it makes 8 pot holders with this whole bag. So I don't know if we can put that to the test or not. But I have read that people have made table runners and placemats and all kinds of things on these little looms. And so I think that would be very cool to try. Now, my loom does not have the hook that it should have come with in the box. So that part is missing from my set. So I'm going to be supplementing a crochet hook, which is essentially what it came with, but my loom set did not have that when I purchased it. So we've got the loops, we've got the loom, I've got crochet hooks. So we're going to give that a try in the next episode. So I have to say, I never did one of these as a kid. I know that they existed, but I never did one. And so a lot of people, this is their introduction to weaving. And that is kind of neat. I'm kind of excited about this. So we will get to see, obviously there's a trick to taking it off the loom. And so we'll be talking about that. And I think this will be kind of neat. Something you can do with kids and stuff like that. Rhonda, I still have the pot holder I made many years age. It is a little worse for wear, but fond memories. I agree. And again, these are things that we can show young people, and I mean our littler folks. I think my kid would like this. So Max might really dig trying to make these too. So that's going to be coming up. Another thing is I have grabbed a tambour hook, and I'll be showing tambour chain stitching and beading on some future episodes. So I do want to put that in your, and it says you'll need the crochet hook to take it off. I know that. So yeah, I made these. I don't have any of them. I know. And our parents they were supposed to save these, and they didn't. So yeah, I think it'll be kind of neat to take a look at some of that. Also, we're continuing our research on Ruth Wyeth Spears and these books that she made in the mid 40s. This one is 1942, and she talks about things that you can do in order to save, conserve. One of these even says, yes, here, mend and save for victory. Okay, so this is in the World War II era, and here is just some basic, like, what to make from things on hand, embroidery stitches, how to mend clothing and household linens. The idea was that, it was, you are on the home front, and the folks needed to know what they could do to continue to make your house and your home fresh and new and things like that, and not have issues with things that you've had for too long, or had passed down to you. So very interesting. And again, like, it's really, some of these are so odd, but some of these are very cute little projects, and I would love to go through some of these ideas with all of you, and just yeah, wow, some of these are weird. A blanket protector. I don't think I've ever heard of a blanket protector. Oh, we need to show you this. This is okay. All right. This, I've never seen anything like this. I don't do this, but I've stayed in enough hotels that do this. Okay. So the idea is, we have all known experienced housekeepers who basted strips of muslin over the tops of blankets to keep them clean. But how many of us have thought of making these protectors more interesting that would cost little more than the muslin? Try to find a flower print for this purpose with a number of soft pastel tones in it, and then bind the protector in bias tape that will repeat one of the flower tones. So she's obviously trying to teach you how to make that, fresh for your home. For blankets 72 inches wide, 2 yards of 36-inch flowered material will make 2 protectors, or 1 protector and trimming bands for a pair of pillowcases and a sheet. And so 5 yards of bias tape will be needed. The sketch at left, which is not that one, it means down here, shows how the protectors are basted in place with slip stitching through the bindings. This way, they are easily removed for washing. So, right? Okay. So more often than not, you were probably not washing your comforter as often as you were your sheets. And so what she's saying here is to sew this blanket protector onto your blanket, and then just remove this with the slip stitching. Just snip the slip stitching off, wash the protector, and then put it back on. And then you can match your pillowcases, etc., by having extra fabric for that. I mean, it's cool. I don't know if I would do it. But these are the kinds of projects that are in these books. And so it's very interesting to see her ideas. Of course, these back photos are from Coates and Clark. So Coates Thread, JP Coates, which is now Coates and Clark. Very interesting, just kind of cool. So we'll be going through some of these. Maybe we'll find a project to do together in that. Now you know how to sew on a blanket protector to cover your blankets, so to speak. And then, the later books did come with more of a list of the projects on the front, so you didn't have to buy it and not know what was in it. But the earlier books didn't have that. And then if you remember these types of pot holders where they made them out of coils of fabric or yarn or whatever, we'll talk about that. They also show a little bit of hardanger, which is hardanger embroidery. If you've never done that, we'll talk about that as well. Lots of really cool ideas. Yeah, I just think that, again, we don't think of these things. Somebody realized that that not everybody has a person in their life to show them how to do these things. And I totally agree with that. I know that that's the case. And so, her sewing books are, I think, just as interesting as her article series. And her article series, again, were found in newspapers, and they were basically ways to change up the 1920s era 1-hour dress. And I am going to be looking at that series as well. So lots of fun stuff. I do have this old Needlecraft magazine to show you. And again, you probably know that I bought a lot of old Needlecraft magazines. This one here showing a very 1920s era dress with some fringe on it, and of course her embroidery that she did. But look at this beautiful border. And this is 1926 labeled here, but it's actually January 1927's magazine. And a lot of the things in here are just like how to do some of these stitches. Little hostess aprons. Here's the picture. Aren't they sweet? Look at these 1920s ladies with their close cropped hair. Transfer painting and luncheon linens. Yeah, these are really cute. Of course, a color ad for Campbell's vegetable soup. Yeah, I do like how they're like baby lima beans of the most enticing flavor. I'm sorry, but lima beans are not my favorite, and they are not at all. They don't seem tasty to me. Here to do a little lamp. Here's more crochet designs. This says it's radio crochet, but that is tatting, my friends. That is what that is. That is new radio crochet. This was awarded 4th prize in the crochet contest that they held. So you can order the stuff from here. Oh, here is all about how to basically feed your family. Food facts for home folks. And this is about how to budget and economic cooking, and your food budget and things like that. It's really interesting. So yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, muckle food for mickle money. I don't get cheap recipes with a costly flavor. That sounds terrible. Some of these sound awful. Yeah, so that will be an entertaining thing. But let's talk back again about the embroideries. things like this, you could, at the bottom here of every magazine page, it does say patterns may be ordered from any Needlecraft club raiser in the United States. So there was going to be somebody who has that. And then, of course, they had patterns for dresses. And then there's a Singer sewing machine ad. And yes, I made it all today. So, that is really cool. And then, here's an ad for Ivory soap, which, as you know, it floats. How cute is that? You could buy a beautiful 1927 Buick sedan for $1,195. So, yeah. Amen. Don't you wish all cars were cheaper like that? Again, they have more bridge accessories, my friends, for your bridge, your afternoon bridge. You have a crochet pattern, more couching, like how to do couching. Very pretty little stitcheries for kids. Just sort of like just kind of ads that women in that era would want. They have like seeds and the new range. Learn the truth of your character revealed with your handwriting, only 10 cents. Roses, how to become financially independent. Now let's see what that one's about. Become financially dependent as our local representative. Hundreds of ladies are earning regular sums with our up-to-the-minute line of fashionable dress fabrics and semi-made dresses. We supply large-size samples and show you the easy way to sell right today from Princess Silk Mills. Which, again, many people don't recognize as, these were going to be a way for women to, live on their own and do things on their own. I mean, some of these ads are really gross. But so yeah, more recipes, and then again more dresses, and then the patterns that you could purchase. There's a little color ad there. So I just find that these magazines are really interesting because sometimes they give patterns for you to try, and like here's a crochet baby set, and all of the directions are right here. So if you know how to crochet, you could crochet this with what you have. And it's all right there. And, here's more how to cover the piano, how to curtaining French doors, home decoration letterbox. Can we use certain shades on a or on a kerosene lamp? Just questions that people had, and they wrote in. More requests. This is like the letters page. May we not have more knitting, especially some new pretty tops for golf stockings or sports hose. I wish to crochet a pillow for my son having the moose heart or moose emblem. Will someone kindly send this? I am greatly interested in the emblem pillows and wish a crochet design of an eagle for our Eagle Lodge. Will not some contributor send a tatted altar lace in a new and attractive design? Should like it about 14 inches wide. So this is basically where people got to request what they wanted the magazine to do. Like, we should do this more often. Will not some contributor give me a pattern for knitted or crocheted bibs for babies? Also, one for a donut beanbag. A donut beanbag. I don't know what a donut beanbag is. I am very desirous of obtaining a design for luncheon cloth and napkins in tatting or with a handsome tatted trim. Huh. I shall be greatly pleased to see either a design of maple leaf in crochet, either for lace or doilies or both. Interesting. Yeah, it's really cool. I should like directions for crochet rag rugs, round, oval, oblong, or square. Me too. I want that too. Anyway, my friends, this one does not have a back page. The back page has been lost. But 1927, Needlecraft magazine. Right. So let's talk about next week. We will be doing our loom, and I hope to see all of you there. New quilts coming. Hope to see you there as well. My friends, take care of yourselves. It's still not 100% out there, so let's take care of ourselves. And I will see all of you on Tuesday. Take care. Have a great